Hi guys, my name is Savannah with Live Bay Lash. I've been with the company for about 4 years now. This channel is dedicated to all things lashes and beauty. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a natural classic set. The goal here is to create the most natural look for my client. So a lot of people ask the difference between classic, volume, and mega volume. So a classic is going to be one extension per natural lash, rather than volume and mega volume are going to be a fan of a thinner diameter that create a fuller look on the natural lashes. So a classic set is a heavier diameter on the natural lashes. Even though it creates a mascara look, it is a little bit heavier on the natural lashes, so you do want to make sure you just put on one extension per natural lash. So in today's classic set, I'm going to be matching the natural lash length of my client in my chair right now. She does want a super natural, subtle look, so I want to go ahead and just match what her natural lashes would be able to hold. I'm going to use a 0.15 diameter, so it is still a classic lash, but it is on the thinner end. In today's video, the products I'm going to be using are a 0.15 C-Curl Mix Tray, our Live Bay Lash Mini White Glue. I will be using our new blue tape. I will be using the Live Bay Lash Good Tweezer and Curvy Babe. So in this video, we are going to do a speed through set, so go ahead and follow along and I'm going to give you some tips along the way. So my client's natural lashes do replicate what an open eye look would normally be, so I'm going to do 11 C-curl on the outer corner, 13 C-curl in the middle, and then I'll taper it down to shorter lengths in the inner corner. I always like to do 9s in the inner corner, or sometimes even 8s if I need to, just because the natural lashes on the inner corner are a lot more sparse and they're not as strong as the rest of the lashes usually. So I personally like to start on the outer corner and just work my way in. I like to bounce back and forth between both of the eyes. That way I'm creating an even look on both sides and one's not fuller than the other. So there's no specific glue for classic lashes. It really just comes down to the dry time that you prefer. If you're a newer lash artist, I always recommend a slower dry time. And then if you are pretty experienced and comfortable with isolation and just placement, then you can always do a faster dry time. So as you can see, the placement on her natural lashes are pretty straight, so you want to make sure that when you place an extension, you don't go any more than 2 to 3 millimeters past the natural lash length. If for some reason it is too heavy for the natural lash, it will start to twist and turn when you apply the extension, and then you'll know if it maybe is a little bit too long or heavy for that natural lash. So as for inner corners, if you are choosing to use a D-curl for your set, I always recommend putting a C-curl on the inner corners. The reasoning for this is really short lengths, such as like 8s or 9s for D-curl, are a lot harder to place just because they are so curly. So if you want to use a shorter length for the inner corners with a looser curl, it's going to be a lot easier for you to place, and it's going to flow with the rest of the set. So a lot of people say that classic lashes do tend to fall out easier or they don't last very long, but when it comes to classic lashes, you just have to choose the right set for your client. So if they have really thin or sparse natural lashes, chances are a classic set probably wouldn't be the best for them, only because they're already thin. If they're already sparse, since classic is 1 per natural lash, it's not going to be able to cover those natural lash gaps as well. And if they're thin, then the diameter might be a little bit too heavy. I think a lot of people realize that classics fall out too, just because volume fans cover everything. So if one falls out, it's not as noticeable, rather than classic. You can only put as many extensions as the natural lashes allow. You do lose between 2 to 5 natural lashes a day, so when that classic lash does fall out, there is no coverage like volume or mega would normally cover that. So as for placement, I personally like to place on the top of the natural lash if I'm able to, but it really depends on the client's natural lashes. If they curl, you want to place the extensions on the opposite side of the curl. And then as for on top or bottom, that's totally your preference and what works best for you. So I chose to use C-curl on my client today only because she did ask for a very subtle natural look, so I wouldn't want to go with a D-curl just because it's going to be a lot curlier and it's going to be more noticeable on her. A C curl is more of a relaxed curl, so that is going to fit her best when it comes to more of a natural look. So for inner corners, it is easier for me to tape in sections. The reasoning for this is when I tape diagonally like this, it brings out all those tiny little inner corners and they will come out, so I'm able to lash them. Otherwise, sometimes what will happen is they'll get a little bit stuck under the iPad or they'll get scrunched in the corner and then you kind of miss those natural lashes. So as you can see, we're about halfway through with the set. The length that I did on her natural lashes is pretty much replicating what her natural lashes would normally be able to hold. They're about the same length. So I'm gonna start tapering down here since we are getting closer to the inner corner. Like I had said, I'm gonna use more of a relaxed curl, a C curl on her inner corners to create that natural look, but I'll start tapering down so we can get to the 9s in the inner corner. So as you can see, we have finished her set. I applied the Live Bake Climax Bond just to seal in any fumes and just increase that retention for her. We ended up following her eye shape, which was an open eye. So I started with 11s on the outer corner, I transitioned to 13 in the middle, and then I tapered them down to 9 in the inner corner. We did use a C curl just because it is a lot more natural. So go ahead and open. As you can see, they're all going in one direction, so this length is good for her natural lashes. And it is a super natural look, and she is good to go. She only has to come in for fills about 2-3 weeks. So just make sure if you do decide to do a classic look, make sure to explain to your clients how it is a thicker diameter, so it's a little bit heavier on the natural lash, but it is gonna create that mascara look. I think there's a big misconception with classic lashes. People would usually think mega volume would be the thickest and heaviest, but it's actually the opposite, so it's important to really explain that to your clients. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you found value in this video. A question for you is, what diameter do you like to use for classic lashes? Leave your answers in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.